So you're new to Tarkov and you're asking yourself, should I wait till a wipe to start playing? The answer, no. Don't wait for a wipe. But let's talk about it. To be honest, the real answer here is there is no right or wrong time to start learning Tarkov. But you shouldn't wait till a wipe happens in order to start. Play the game as soon as you buy the game. So this means at any point of a Tarkov patch or wipe cycle. If you do get the game as soon as wipe hits, then please go for it and have fun. But if you had a choice, I'd advise to wait a bit longer after a fresh wipe. There are pros and cons as to when you start playing Tarkov at a specific point of a wipe cycle, whether at the beginning, middle, or end. But in my opinion, if you're new to the game, and again, if you have a choice, a fresh wipe isn't when you should be playing Tarkov for the first time. In this breakdown, I'll explain the pros and cons to starting to play at each point of a wipe and which phase I'd recommend you playing in. I'll break down each phase of a wipe into 3 main parts: early, middle, and late wipe. First, let's talk early wipe, or also known as fresh wipe. This is when a wipe literally just hits and majority of the player base is between levels 1 to 20. Most people think early wipe is the best time to play because everyone starts at a level playing field. All players are level 1 on day 1 and everyone's gear is virtually equal. So it does make sense to learn Tarkov at this time. But there are a handful of problems early wipe presents, especially to newer players. And here are a few. Number 1, most quest locations are overpopulated. An example of this is the pocket watch truck in construction for Prapper, or trying to grab Jaeger's letter in woods. Both of these locations have very heavy foot traffic at the start of a wipe. Especially if you don't have 100% map knowledge, game sense, and awareness yet, you will most likely get outplayed a lot in these quest locations if you're not careful. Number 2, experienced players level really fast right out of the gate. The level playing field that you thought was a good idea becomes the exact problem you have. This goes out the window so quick. You'll find people jumping from level 1 all the way to levels 15 to 20 in a day or two, or sometimes even less. So this level playing field will be a very brief period if you don't level as quick as an experienced player. There's not much early wipe offers for a new player outside of a day or two of equal gear and equal level PvP. Now let's talk mid wipe. In my opinion, this is when majority of the player base is between levels 21 to around 35. I also believe this is the best time to start learning Tarkov for these reasons. Number 1, the gear disparity between the high-level player versus the low-level player isn't too much of a gap yet. At this point of the wipe, most players are fairly geared, but your early-level gear can easily compete with these guys. You'll find most players still shifting between level 3 and level 4 armor sets, which level 1 trader bullets and just general gear can still work well against these. This is the best time to learn winnable PvP against higher-level players. Number 2, most of the starter quests are less contested. As mentioned earlier in our early wipes segment, quests like the Pocket Watch and Customs or Jaeger's Letter in Woods will have less players hanging around than the first few days of wipe. This means you'll have a higher success rate progressing through these early quests. Number 3, if you have experienced Tarkov friends playing, most of them will already have keys needed to open locked doors for early quests. Next up, let's talk about late wipe. This is when most players are at around level 35 and up. This might sound like the worst time to get into the game, but it's actually not a bad idea to get in at this time. Here's why. Number 1, most early to mid wipe quests are almost completely uncontested. You'll have free reign to just blast through these early quests because most of the player population are probably done with them anyway. Number 2, most of your friends who have progressed will have a lot of the keys to lock doors of majority of the quests as well. And to add to this, once you unlock the flea market, a lot of these quest keys or quest related items will be a lot cheaper since demand will be much less. Number 3, there's also a lot less pressure to grind Tarkov since you already know and accept that majority of the player base is pretty much done with the wipe. So you can take your time knowing that today and tomorrow will virtually be the same experience, which is the fact that most players are already higher leveled and probably better geared than yourself. Although PvP will be a lot more tough at this time of the wipe since most players are already wearing level 5 armor and running meta bullets, this is also the best time to learn how to deal with bigger gear disparity. Most experienced players in Tarkov are able to compete with highly geared players using low level gear. And this is something you can practice as a new player and learn at this time. Leg meta and face taps will come in super handy at this time of the wipe. And my last point, but definitely not the least, this is also a great time to practice questing. Once you start to learn the flow of quests and how they work, you'll start to learn how to pre-keep items needed and simultaneously finish multiple quests in a single raid to progress faster through the game. And once you learn this allows you to level quicker to keep up with the rest of the community when wipe actually hits. So to wrap all this up, play at any point of the wipe, but best to learn mid or late wipe. And if you're still learning Tarkov and you need more direction on what to focus on first, check out this video right here. This will help you figure out what aspects of Tarkov you want to focus on first as a new player.